them astray, and now they were lost in the middle of nowhere. Harsh's eyes narrowed as he looked at the screen, his mind racing with thoughts of what could have been if only they had taken a different route. Mallory's voice was calm, but her words were laced with concern. "I think we should turn back," she said. "We can't afford to get stuck in this traffic." But Harsh just shook his head. "No way," he said firmly. "We've come too far. We'll figure it out." Sagar and Sai exchanged a worried glance, but they knew better than to argue with Harsh when he was like this. The tension in the car was palpable as they drove deeper into the unknown. And then, suddenly, they heard the sound of rushing water. "What's that?" Mallory asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Harsh's eyes scanned the horizon, and his face set in a determined expression. "It's the Kali River," he said. "We're not far from Hampi." But as they rounded the bend, the river came into view, its waters churning with white foam. The car skidded to a stop on the edge of the riverbank, and Harsh let out a deep breath. They had made it, for now. And now, chapter 27. The hotel's name was Malady, and the place turned out to be really refreshing for Everand from here. The story moves to a night that would change everything. The dinner was over, and the conversation had just begun. Sagar's question hung in the air. "So bye. When are you getting married?" Harsh's heart skipped a beat as he realized Sai knew about his engagement. He hadn't told anyone yet, not even Mallory. The thought of marriage to someone from his samaj made him feel suffocated. But what if he said no? What if he didn't want to be tied down? The questions swirled in his mind like a tornado, making it hard for him to focus on the conversation. Meanwhile, in the girls' room, Sai and Mallory were sharing their deepest secrets. Sai asked Mallory about her personal life, and Mallory's eyes sparkled as she talked about Nimit. But then, the conversation took an unexpected turn when Sagar asked Harsh if he liked someone from outside his samaj. The pause that followed was deafening. And then, in a split second, they all confessed their true feelings to each other. "Yes, I love someone," Mallory said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mallory," Harsh replied, his heart pounding with excitement. The night air was electric, with tension as the four friends realized that nothing would ever be the same again. They had crossed a threshold, and there was no turning back. And now, chapter 28. The next morning in Hospit at Hotel Malagi was very refreshing for the four. As the sun rose over the ancient city of Hampi, the four friends felt invigorated and ready to take on the day. The air was crisp, and the scent of jasmine flowers wafted through the hotel lobby, setting a tranquil tone for their adventure. Sai stood tall, her eyes shining with excitement as she outlined the plan for the day. "We'll start with the Coracle boat ride," she announced, "and then explore the ruins of Virupaksha Temple." Mallory and Harsh exchanged a glance, their faces alight with anticipation. Sagar, meanwhile, was lost in thought, his eyes fixed on some point beyond the horizon. As they set off towards Hampi, the landscape unfolded before them like a canvas of endless possibility. The paddy field stretched out as far as the eye could see, a sea of green that seemed to whisper secrets to those who dared to listen. Harsh's gaze drifted back to Mallory, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her heart skip a beat. She felt alive, electric, and utterly at ease in his presence. The driver, Ram, chatted amiably as he navigated the winding roads, his warm smile putting everyone at ease. As they approached Hampi, Sai pointed out the boulders, their shapes and sizes a testament to the geological wonders that lay hidden beneath the surface. Hampi is full of secrets, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. And today, we're going to uncover some of them. With that, they stepped off the car and onto the path of discovery, ready to unravel the mysteries of this ancient city. And now, chapter 29. Travel should slow us down, and that's what Hampi was doing. And from here, the story moves to a place that would change everything. The four friends were sitting under a huge banyan tree, surrounded by the serene beauty of Hampi. Harsh had given Malor a white flower, and they were lost in their own world. The air was filled with an eerie silence, as if time had stood still. Sai and Sagar sat on opposite sides of the table, watching their friends with a mix of curiosity and concern. They couldn't help but notice the spark between Harsh and Malor. It was as if they were two souls reunited after a lifetime apart. The song "A Thousand Years" by Christina Perri still lingered in the air, its lyrics echoing the emotions of the moment. Sai's voice had been smooth and melodious, and Sagar couldn't help but feel drawn to her. He looked at her with newfound admiration, his eyes locking onto hers for a brief moment. The connection between them was palpable, and it seemed to be growing stronger by the minute. As they sat there, the world around them melted away, leaving only the two of them, lost in their own little bubble of love. The Vitala temple, with its majestic stone chariot, seemed like a distant memory, replaced by the intimacy of this moment. And from here, the story takes a dramatic turn, one that would change the course of their lives forever. And now, chapter 30. Sai and Sagar got down from the Malayavantha Parvat after the sun had set entirely, and as they entered the Mango Tree restaurant, Sai and Sagar were immediately swept away by the infectious energy of the place. The air was alive with music, laughter, and the sweet scent of mangoes. They made their way through the crowd, taking in the sights and sounds of this vibrant hub. Sai couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging here, as if she had finally found her tribe. Sagar, on the other hand, was still pinching himself, wondering if he was dreaming. The atmosphere inside was electric, with people from all walks of life coming together to share their love for music and good company. As they found a table by the window, Sai gazed out at the starry sky, feeling grateful for the serendipitous encounter. She turned to Sagar with a mischievous glint in her eye. "You know what would make this night even more special?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Sagar raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the question. "What's that?" he replied, his curiosity piqued. Sai smiled slyly. "Let's order some drinks and dance under the stars." And with that, they embarked on a night that would be etched in their memories forever. As they sipped their drinks and swayed to the rhythm of the music, Sai felt a sense of freedom she had never experienced before. It was as if the world had slowed down, and all that mattered was this moment, suspended in time. Sagar, too, felt a deep connection to Sai, as if they were two souls meant to be together. The night air was filled with their laughter, music, and promise of new beginnings. And from here, the story moves to the next chapter of their journey, where the lines between friendship and love would become increasingly blurred. And now, chapter 31. When you meet the one,